Akon and Boo Dirty, what's good with you?
What's going on, Vlad? So this is OG Boo Dirty right here.
OG Boo Dirty, what's up, man?
What it do? What it do?
Everything good. So first of all, how did y'all two link up?
Well, actually, we linked up at the time. We was promoting Young Thug, and my little brother Boo, had brought me a situation with Thug to where we can kind of let him use the platform to get his, career going. And I had a stepbrother, by the name Maul, who was actually just getting out of jail himself, was on the road with them. And through the Thug situation, Maul met, OG, and it's brought it to my attention. You know what I'm saying? Told me, yo, man, this kid out of Memphis, he doing big things out there. The city got his back. They, they really supporting what he got going. And you might want to check this out. You know what I'm saying? And clearly, once I heard it, I was like, yeah, this is something I definitely want to be a part of. So a few weeks later, I got the information, reached out to him, and we're here today.
Okay, and this is part of your new label, Convict Cartel.
Yeah, so Convict Cartel is really more so a new and improved 2000K convict music. It's like the next generation convict music. That's what Cartel is.
Right, and Young Greatness is on the label too.
Yeah, Young Greatness is also, part of the Convict Cartel movement.
Yeah, great song. We actually just interviewed him I think about a week ago or so.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah. you always Akon is like the A&R dream team guy. You know what I'm saying? He's like the Michael Jordan of A&Rs. I mean, from T-Pain to Lady Gaga to who else?
Man, you name it. I'm sure. Young Jeezy, Rich Homie Quan, French Montana, Red Cafe, Meek Mills. I mean, you can go on and on.
Go on and on and on.
OG Boo Dirty.
OG Boo Dirty now.
OG Boo Dirty. All right, now OG Boo Dirty. I looked into your background, and you got quite an interesting past, to say the least.
Yeah, well, we focus on the future now. That's why we here. Hey, you know what's crazy, Vlad? It took me 3 years to clean him up.
3 years.
Yeah, so he's a whole nother person now, man. He did his 360 on me.
Okay, well, let's talk about what happened in the past for a second. So you had a situation that happened. Well, at one point you had attempted murder charges.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what was the situation around that, and how did you end up beating that?
I beat it. The people who had the charges on me, they was already convicted felons, so their statements weren't credible. So by them not being credible, they let me go the first day of trial.
Oh, the first day of trial.
Yeah, I took it to trial. They offered me 244 years, I took it to trial. 244, I can do 30 at 100%. It's still life, so I'd rather get the 244. So I took a pop shot at the 244 and I won the trial.
Wait, was that the plea deal, 244 years?
The plea deal was 30 at 100%.
Oh, okay. Well, 30 years, that's damn near life, anyways.
Damn near, that is life. When you already 25.
No, I mean, people living longer these days. You can still get out, in your 50s. Life ain't over in your 50s.
Yeah, my son will be my age, though.
That's a rough one, though, man. A 30-year plea bargain, and your lawyer said that we're going to go for it?
I'm going to go for it. I had the best lawyer in the town.
Okay. Because we had just interviewed Lil Boosie, and he beat a murder trial as well. You look at how much money you spent on lawyer fees, which ended up beating the case. How much did you spend altogether?
Probably $250,000.
Probably the best $250,000 you ever spent in your life, huh?
I spent like 55. I'm in a smaller city though, so it's different.
No, absolutely. So why did they just dismiss you the first day? Like what happened with that?
Lack of evidence.
Okay. So why would the district attorney take it to court only to dismiss you the first day?
Because I was one of the biggest gang members in the city. They wanted me off the streets, so by any means necessary, it was word of mouth what got me in jail. So in Memphis, it worked like if you walk up and say, yo, Boo Dirty hit me in my mouth, I want to press charges. Instead of them getting the evidence for it, they'll just pick me up and lock me up just off your word. So Memphis go by word of mouth.
Yeah, most likely knowing these kind of situations from just past experiences, the district attorney will ride it all the way out to the end, assuming you're going to eventually take that plea deal, knowing they don't have a case. You know what I'm saying? And normally when you get to the point where you actually show up for court, they be like, you know what? Guys, we don't have anything. He looks like he's going to fight it off, so let's just let this thing go before we spend taxpayers' dollars.
Because it take a whole lot of money to go to trial.
Yep.
So the DA was trying to intimidate you.
Basically.
Yeah.
How did you feel after facing 30 years for them to say you were acquitted?
I mean, after that, I met him. You know what I mean? And he told me then and there, like, man, you got to get yourself together. I will not move until you get yourself together. So 2.5, going on 3 years passed. I started me a little league football team and just dedicated my time to the football team, to the church and the studio. Like, I did a whole 360, like he just said. Like,
oh, so you actually started going to church?
yeah. When you facing 30 years, you better go to something. Vacation Bible school or something.
Right, you and God get a little more acquainted during those long nights.
Yeah.
Now, there was some sort of altercation between you and Yo Gotti a while back.
Yeah.
What was that about?
I mean, it was really never about me and him. It was about his entourage and my entourage.
Okay.
Both of us sticking our neck out for our entourage. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't never saw him before. I've been living in Memphis 30 years, I ain't never saw him before. Unless it was at a show or something.
Okay, and then what? A fight broke out in the parking lot?
Nah, yeah. Fight broke out in the parking lot.
6 people got shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, some people got shot before that.
Oh.
In another club. So it was going on more than, it's just the right people got shot where the news can get it on top of it. And
Okay, then both you and Yo Gotti got arrested over that. They dropped the charges.
yeah, because didn't nobody come forward and press charges. No, now either side came and press charges.
Okay, after that, did you two talk at all and clear up what happened?
I mean, I ain't never talked to him. I ain't never saw him. I talked to Black Youngster through, and he'll tell me like, yo, Gotti want to do this and do that, and we talked through Black Youngster or Akon. We talked through both of them. So
You just worked out what needed to be worked out?
Yeah, that's what it ended up pretty much being. Because when I spoke to Gotti about it, Gotti, expressed that people died over this. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't as simple as a conversation and to be done. And my approach was, well, both of y'all are leaders from each one of y'all sides. So it's going to take y'all two leaders to come together and have that conversation to create some kind of a solution in order to work. But if your entourage is doing one way, his entourage is going one way, and each one of y'all can control each other's entourage, then the only way to fix this is between the two of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I think it'd be huge for Memphis when that day come where them two can sit down and actually pull it all together. But I think it's a little more complicated now because it's kind of beyond Gotti and beyond OG because of the fact that people had died over it, and they may want to make a decision according to themselves, but the people that's involved may not agree with that decision. So politically, it's kind of better to let things kind of slowly die out as it did, and this is why OG never made a move. Gotti pretty much never made a move, and they were just trying to be leaders in their own right to allow the people, the entourages kind of work it out to an extent. You know what I'm saying? Because Gotti's doing a great, job at his career. He's moving forward in life, and a lot of that history is behind him. OG's doing the same thing in his community, reframing his whole lifestyle and, being more a part of his son's life and the football team that they moving. So he's kind of refrained from the past. So the only thing that could bring it back would be the entourage is just, creating more energy towards it. So my thing was, let's just let time fly in between. Y'all both mature out at the same time. Y'all both become successful and do what y'all do. And then the day when y'all do come together, it'll be something that brings Memphis itself back together. You know what I'm saying? Because at what point do you say, okay, enough is enough? Like, how many people got to continue to die? And how many more lives have to be affected by this? It's just a matter of y'all two coming together, letting Memphis know that if we can come together, everybody can come together.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem a lot of times when you talk about these gang truces and stuff like that. When people die in the process, it's hard to get over that part.
Exactly. But what's crazy is, the thing is, it's almost like a catch-22 in so many ways, because the decisions we make gonna affect us. And we gotta know that if we decide to ride this way, there's something gonna happen. But when something do happen, we also, the same way we made that decision to get involved, we gotta be mature enough to make the decision to find a solution out of it. Because if that's affecting us, that lives had been, taken in the process of that, and us not creating a solution only gonna take more lives. So how many more lives do we want before we can say, okay, well, let's just end it now, you know, and let's just try to figure out a way to work it out rather than just continue, you know, hitting each other up and lives continue to keep going. And that cycle will never stop because retaliation is always going to be a must.
Yeah, I mean, like, what did Gandhi say? An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
I feel you. I feel you. You know, Boo, like growing up in that type of environment, you know, a lot of times, you know, it's glamorized, you know, like the money and like, you know, like the tough guy aspect of it. But there's always losses that come along with that. Like, what do you think was some of the biggest losses you took as you were growing up and going through that?
I mean, growing up, I thought I wanted. Growing up, to the last couple of years, when I met Akon, I wanted to be the biggest gangster in the world. That was my goal. That was my platform, of being the biggest gangster in the world. Until I got with somebody and saw a different outlook of life. You know what I mean? Coming up in that little box that I come up in, and that little world that we come up in, it ain't number 300,000-400,000 people in Memphis. You know what I'm saying? 200,000 of them is gangbangers. You see what I'm saying? So, like I was saying earlier, like Black Lives Matter then finally brought my city a little closer together. You see what I'm saying? Where everybody from every culture, you got whites, blacks, everybody that's in Memphis, they just tired of it. You know what I mean? And they came together and just did it just like that. Like, they won't move. The police, they got their rally going on. It's still going on today. Like, it's been going on 6-7 days in Memphis right now.
Okay. Have you ever dealt with dirty cops yourself?
I mean, as far as the dirtiest cop I ever ran across was, I probably had 20,000 and he'll turn in 3,000. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never ran into a cop that know I'm OG Boo there, know I'm a gangbanger, drive and pull me behind the bill and beat me up, or I ain't never ran into that. The police is in Memphis right now treat me like I made it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they see me, like, they just happy to see what I'm doing. And you got the football team, like my football team number 4 in the country right now. They just happy to see it. Then on top of the Akon situation about him coming to Memphis, and like, it's making me look like I grew up the way I grew up for real. Like, I grew up in hard. Like, I go to football practice, studio, and go home. You know what I mean? Like, nothing else is even important to me. Nothing. Like, that's why I argue with Akon so much. Like, what's taking so long?
You're in good hands, though, man. I've seen Akon take artist after artist. You know, and honestly, like, I haven't heard anyone ever say anything bad about Akon, even when they weren't with him afterwards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like every, you know, like when you look at the French Montanas or the Red Cafes, like, you never see them saying like, "Yo, Akon stole my money," or "Akon promised me X, Y, and Z and never delivered." Like, you just don't see that. And I've known him for what, 10 years now?
Because he was never in it for the money. That's probably the reason why, like, he was never in it for the money. He was in it for a blessing. You know what I mean? He ain't need me. You know what I'm saying? I needed him more than he needed me. He ain't need me. God made him take a chance on me, so I don't really believe he was ever in it for the money.